going to explain about the ICE Synergy assignment. Okay, introduction to civil engineering synergy. There are 4 types, which are first, structural engineering, second, transportation and geotechnical engineering, third, hydraulics and hydrology, and lastly, environmental engineering. On 17 January 2021, we had a meeting for both teams. We discussed about all the 4 assignments. We exchanged the information about all 4 assignments and take a Wi-Fi after the meeting. So this is the Wi-Fi that we take after the meeting. First, structural engineering. Subfield of structural engineering, there are scope of structural engineering. There are 4 types, which is first, design, which is pre-construction, second, construction, third, maintenance, which is post-construction, and last but not least is demolition. Okay, there are 4 types in structural engineering, which is structural systems, structural elements, and structural design. In structural systems, there are vault, dome, shear, cable structure, membrane structure. In structural elements, there are bars and cables, beams, cantilever beam, column, truss, hybrid forms, and fosses. In structural design, in a building, we need to have strength, stability, aesthetics, serviceability, and lastly, economic. Okay, this is a quote from Scott Adams. Normal people believe that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But engineers believe that if it ain't broke, it doesn't have enough features yet. Okay, for the assignment for structural engineering, in this assignment, we need to choose a building of University Technology Malaysia to draw and assume how many beams and columns for the building. First, we draw the sketch of the building, which shows structural layout and the dimension. Then we carry out the approximate measurement of each part and calculate the weight of roof, slab, beam, and column based on approximate density of its material. And last but not least, we calculate the load carried out by each beam and column. So for this assignment, we chose the G17 building for our assignment. So this is the dimensional for the drawing. This is the 3-dimensional drawing so that we include the column. So we have the column type 1, type 2, and type 3 with different length, width, and height. So this is the roof and the second floor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amir Sofi, and I will talk about transportation and geotechnical engineering. For transportation engineering, actually is a branch of civil engineering that focuses on designing and planning the efficiency of transportation system. The system includes of waterways, roadways, railways, and intermodal operation. And about the geotechnical engineering, actually is a branch of civil engineering that concerned with engineering behavior of earth material. Geotechnical engineering also has application in military, mining, and of course in transportation, because 2 of this branch and subfield of civil engineering are very correlated. So the scope of transportation and geotechnical actually about roads, bridges, and railways, and tunnel. So after subfield, we will go further on assignment of transportation and geotechnical engineering. So we will touch about the issues of civil engineering that related to geological, geotechnical, and transportation engineering in tropical climate. So actually we will talk about 4 cases of project. Project number 1 is about construction of foundation in Petronas Twin Tower, KLCC in Malaysia. And the second one is about construction of underground tunnel, Klang Valley Mass Rapid Transit Project, KVMRT. And the case number 3 is construction of LAT, traffic 2-in-1, we can call it smart tunnel, also in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And the case number 4 is about LRT 3. So we will go further about the 4 cases that I already explained before. So about the case number 1, which is Petronas Twin Tower, we call it KLCC. Actually, the construction of the original construction site of the KLCC set on the edge of the cliff. So half of the construction site set on the decay limestone, and the other half set on the soft rock. So the construction team or the engineer team came with the idea to move the entire site 60 meters from the original construction foundation site. So because of the depth of the bedrock, the building will build on the world's deepest foundation with 104 concrete piles ranging to 60 to 114 meter depth. So that's the solution for the problem. And the case number 2 is construction of underground tunnel of Klang Valley Mass Rapid Transit Project, KVMRT. So actually KVMRT have the same problem as the KLCC because of the construction site set on the KL limestone formation, which is known to be highly karstic. So in order to overcome this, ground treatment such as jet grouting, compaction grouting, and fissure grouting was performed at the area with weak ground strata and to fill the cavity to strengthen the soil. So the next one is about the flood and traffic 2-in-1 smart tunnel in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Actually, the objective of this smart tunnel is to for the flood mitigation and reduce traffic congestion. This is because of rapid. The reason is because of rapid economic and population growth, make the traffic congest and the floods happen a lot. So then that is the reason why smart tunnel construct. The next one is LRT3. Actually, the constructions of viaduct and station will begin with the commencement of the foundation structure. Piling works will begin boss piling, which is modern day technique for the building solid foundation. Because of this, because of this piling, the entire construction can withstand the very lot weight.
Subfield in Introduction to Civil Engineering is Hydraulics and Hydrology. Coastal hydrodynamics is coastal dynamic forces plus coastal physical characteristic equal to sediment transport, which is erosion, accretion, and sedimentation. The threats in coastal zone is beach and coastal erosion, river mouth sedimentation, extreme storms, sea level rise, environmental threats, for example, oil spill and depleted ecosystem. Lastly, the example of coastal erosion protection is seawall, groin, detached breakwater, submerged breakwater, and nourishment. Third assignment is assignment of hydraulics and hydrology water resources engineering, coastal erosion. The description of project is the proposed project stretches across the northeast coast of Kelantan along the coastline of Sungai Pangkalan Datuk to Sungai Kelantan. Then, annual flood made large volumes of sediment deposited at river mouth. To solve this, we propose the project to the affected area by dredging the sediment with total volume at 0.25 10⁶ meter square. Due to erosion of some area of Mouth River, a coastal land reclamation is proposed to provide new land areas in place of the eroded coastlines by reclaim about 662,154 meter square volumes of sand that was dredged. This is the layout of land reclamation and dredge channel. The blue one is dredge channel and the red one is reclamation and revetment. Each box in this diagram is 2 cm times 2 cm range 1 km and the area of one box is 1 km times 1 km. Next, this is the cross section. The left one is revetment diagram and the right one is dredge channel diagram. Next, how to calculate the volume if dredge channel is stated on the diagram. Next, how the dredge was done is, first, the operator of the dredge lowered the boom to the bottom of the body of water. Next, a rotating cutter bar then uses teeth to loosen the settled material as the submersible pump removes the sediment from the bottom of the waterway. Lastly, the silt and debris are transported away of reclamation process. Then, the volume calculation of reclamation can be calculated by estimated volume of sand for reclamation. Next, how reclamation and revetment were done is, firstly, place a layer of sand 1 to 2 meter thick over the footprint to the proposed rock bund. Second, construct a rock bund on top of the sand layer using core rock material for the permanent revetment. A layer of geotextile is placed on the slope facing the reclamation area. The rocks will be delivered by barges and placed by a long-range excavator operating from a barge. The initial layer of sand is expected to settle and mix with the existing seabed material. Next, pump fill material into reclamation area to a level just below the bund crest. Next, install prefabricated vertical dredge. Then, fill the material to the surcharge, which is 2 to 3 meters above the platform level of 4.5 meters CD1 MUN after the installation of the prefabricated vertical drains. Next, remove surcharge material after the surcharge rest period. Lastly, after the removal of surcharge material, the temporary rock bund will be trimmed. A layer of geotextile will be placed on the trim surface, followed by placement of armor rocks to be delivered by barges and placed by a long-reach excavator operating from a barge or from the crest of the river.
My name is Mohammad Zabidin, and I will be explaining about the environmental engineering under the subfield of civil engineering. So basically, as we all know, environmental engineers are the engineers who fully understand about the concept of nature. They also use the principle of engineering and science to overcome environmental problems. Their work areas are variety. For example, most of the environmental engineers work on mine reclamation. Mine reclamation is where the mine land to be restored to become a natural state. This is where environmental engineers function as they understand the soil behavior to be restored. Their salary is approximately to be about 3,000 Malaysian ringgit to 9,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is considered high in average Malaysian salary. In conclusion, I would say environmental engineers are crucial in a country or an area, which they actually can balance the equilibrium of nature and also technology. Thank you. And now for the next subfield of civil engineering assignment, I will be explaining about the environmental engineering assignment. So basically this assignment is about students to create a short video about an environmental issue. Many issues were submitted such as global warming and water pollution. So in this case, I will be talking about the water pollution as a serious matter in our country. So basically the video explains us about the bad behavior that can cause the water pollution, such as throwing plastic into the oceans. So this will take effect to our water source. Example, like in Selangor River, which is now polluted. This polluted river caused the people in Selangor to do water rationing. This is due to lack of healthy water sources of their river. So after all, I would say it's a must for everyone to nurture our water source such as rivers and seas, as they can ensure our survival in